You're a freshman at DePaul University in Chicago, and you're running for Cook County Commissioner. Why did you decide to enter this race?
So there were a lot of things that really influenced my decision. The first thing that really started all of this was around in February. I was talking to some of the people I worked with on the post-Senate campaign I worked with, and they were like, we need more young women involved in politics, specifically Muslim women. Like, do you know anyone? What do you think about that? And I was sort of sitting there and I was like, well, what if I became that person? So that's what started just the idea of it. And I was always super involved, and engaged within the community and community work. And a lot of the things that I heard people say / complain about was, people, our voices aren't being heard. No one's listening to us. Those people up there, they don't understand what we're going through and things like that. So I was like, So all of these thoughts are going on in my head. And so a lot of the stuff that I worked with, I'm part of this campaign project called Meet a Muslim. So I was invited by a bunch of Montessori schools, Catholic schools, and I would go in there and I'd be the Muslim that the first student would meet, because they go to a Catholic school in similar environments. So they don't see Muslim people just walking around. So I met a lot of those kids, and I was really involved in all these different communities, and I was it shaped me into this person who wanted to do something with this, do something with all these voices and opinions that I'm really gathering and things like that. So I learned that change at the local level is where it all begins, and local politics is really they have a lot of power, but they also are the most shielded part of our government. No one really knows what's going on in there, and there's a lack of transparency going on. So I was researching different types of local government positions, and the ones that people focus on are governor or mayor and things like that. But no one really focuses on what goes on with Cook County Board. We have there are 17 elected officials on there, each representing their respective district. And if you tell someone, you're hey, do you know what the position of Cook County Commissioner is? A lot of people had no idea what I was talking about. So there's that. I feel I've drawn attention to there's this position that exists, and they have these meetings and they decide a yearly budget of close to $5 billion, but that's your money that benefits you, but you're not aware of what's happening. So the lack of transparency was something that really bothered me, and I decided that as a young person, I can bring forth, I'm an accessible person who's active on social media, who can really bring forth change, I believe, on that level.
And what are the main issues that you hope to address if you're elected?
So there are about 45,000 young people from 16 to 24 who reside in Cook County who choose not to further their collegiate education, nor are they employed. So they're sort of just sitting there, and there's nothing there for them, and these are their only options per se. So there should be a program that's designated for them to help them get a job, because one, if you never had a job, what do you need to get a job? You need experience of some sort, right? So there has to be something of that sort. Also, if you do choose to further your education, you have to pay for it. Where do you get that money from? From a job. So it's really this cycle that's going on for these kids, and there isn't an option for them. So implementing some sort of policy that helps get them ready for this, that puts them into internship, gives them internship opportunities, or shows them that there are other ways to further your future, not just college or work, and there are other options for these people. Not only that, but again, the lack of transparency. So for example, there was a sugar tax that was voted on. Have you heard of this? So a lot of people are not aware of the sugar tax. So the sugar tax is the 1 ounce, 1 cent per 1 ounce of any sugary beverage. And the rationale behind this was that it would help end childhood obesity. Well, as a young person, and with my young person perspective, I don't think that paying 20 extra cents on a 20-ounce beverage will prevent me from purchasing that beverage. So really the ways that they're going about issues that affect us young people, they don't share the same perspective. So that voice is not being heard because there's someone else who does not understand our viewpoint, and they are making these decisions for us.
So you already have a fundraising page set up for your campaign.
I do.
And as of this morning, I looked, and it has almost $600 raised and a goal of $10,000.
Right.
What other support have you gotten from friends and family or fellow students?
Yeah. So the fundraising page hasn't been pushed too much. It's just been posted on Facebook. It's not really circulating around or anything yet, but that's why I'm planning a fundraising dinner. So with that dinner, there will be tickets that are sold. There'll be a nice dinner and meal. People will get together, get to meet the candidate, things like that. And then they'll be encouraged to donate some extra money as well. So really generating support within the local community, but also getting in contact with different PACs and political action committees and things like that, seeking their support in hopes to get more funding, because it's difficult, because getting that money talks. That's probably why a lot of people aren't inclined to run for positions of any sort.
And you're only 19 years old. You're so young. Have you gotten any criticism for deciding to enter the race?
I've seen things around that maybe I'm too young or inexperienced or things like that, but I mean, in my defense, I believe that I've been more engaged and active within the community, being able to listen to what people say and have to do than some of the people that are in office, not just on Cook County Board, but in general. Like, that's really where it all stems from. Like, that's the experience that you need in politics that a lot of politicians don't have. Being able to listen, being able to empathize with people and, like, their sorrows, their worries, instead of making harsh decisions on their behalf that affect them directly.